Standard Renoir projects, implementation phase, understanding. The change cycle. The second stage in the change cycle is understanding. This marks the transition between simply complying or doing and actually seeing and appreciating the value or benefit in the new tools and processes. The workforce are increasingly aware of why they are changing the way that they work, but they are still adjusting to these changes. It is important to remember, as it means they will likely be unable to carry out the required tasks without the correct management, i.e. coaching, which is the project team's responsibility. Introduction of more advanced system elements. After mechanical compliance comes the understanding phase, associated with cultural and behavioral change. Mechanical compliance introduces the supervisor to the concept and the mechanics of how it is done. Understanding builds on this mechanical introduction, bringing additional skills to practically deal with everyday issues on the shop floor. With understanding comes the realization of cause and effect, and consequences of actions. Root cause analysis can be used to make sense of what is being experienced. Root cause analysis introduces the necessary structure to the problem-solving arena, providing direction in order to identify the root cause of the problem in the most efficient manner. If we tackle the actual cause of the problem, it is likely that we can develop a long-lasting and definitive solution or preventative measure. Tweak the management control system elements based on feedback from the field. With understanding comes the recognition of how various system elements interplay and support each other. With this understanding comes the ability to recognize when a particular element may not be working, either to its full potential or at all. Under these circumstances, we can adjust the system to suit the specific environment, while still maintaining the overall objective and intent. Management control system elements to be tweaked could include reporting systems, planning tools, review meetings, agendas and participants, feedback loops, and short interval control tools. Discussion with IT team of the client to incorporate solutions into the existing IT systems. At this point, offline desktop-based data management systems designed to drive awareness should be considered for incorporation into the existing client enterprise IT systems to ensure adequate ownership. It is important that in these early stages of development, the proof of concept tools are not linked with the enterprise IT systems for several reasons. The enterprise data integrity is maintained. There is no reliance on external IT support to build and adapt the tool. It ensures control over the tool and the concept development by the project team. It allows for frequent changes that are to be expected in these early developmental stages. And it is important to run the offline system and the enterprise IT version in parallel for a period of time to ensure integrity and stability. Review and flag areas of poor performance. Make it the client's problem. The review process is the opportunity to apply newfound understanding and use data available to develop a valid and achievable response. This is the opportunity to engage senior stakeholders and work with the supervisor and MAT to cement the Renoir methodology within the client's day-to-day business. If there are issues with performance, it is important to ensure that the client is aware and takes ownership of the problems and subsequent solution development. Interventions and subsequent responses should consider the tactical ramifications and look to a long-term horizon. Ensure that interventions do not conflict with other initiatives and that the project objectives are not compromised at any point during this review. Help the client to identify actions to improve poor performance. Working with the client will reveal their level of real understanding. The cornerstone of the Renoir methodology is the client's journey of self-discovery. Therefore, it is vital that the client measures progress and identifies any failings in the system. The client will most probably require coaching to develop the solution and to devise a suitable implementation plan to address the deficiencies. It is the role of the consultant to provide this coaching and guidance. Remember, solutions must consider the impact on the broader system elements and management control system. Internally identify actions for issues that may impact on our ability to achieve contracted financial results. During this stage, there may be a recognition internally within the project team that the committed benefits may be jeopardized for some reason. At this stage, validate said assessments with the client and understand what levers are available to the project for mitigation. In every case, escalate this assessment to the Renoir Operations Manager so that they are aware of the situation. If mitigating actions are not available, then a process of negotiation may be initiated with the client to reassess the terms of the project. It is imperative that all system KPIs and enablers are in place and functioning to ensure that it is not the system or lack of system compliance contributing to the poor outcome. It is important to keep the MAT focused on the project and their charter to deliver the committed outcome. Ongoing evaluation of audit, KPIs. The continuous evaluation of the system compliance and KPIs is fundamental to embedding the improved behaviours of the performance loop. Evaluation and performance indicators form the foundation of the MCS and will be part of any operational review meeting. Fundamental to this review is that performance is referenced against a plan or target. This should become the norm. Plan versus actual equals variance, and variance equals action. Remember, it is only in the act of doing that change actually happens. The automatic question that should be raised by any variance is, what action is required to fix the problem? Actions should consider several timeframes. Now, to recover the situation. Intermediate, to recover the lost output by the end of the period. And the longer term, to eliminate the root cause of the problem so that it never happens again. Identify areas of poor performance as identified in project audits. A gap between actual and target performance should be explored for the following: values and culture, systems, organization, and information and data. Any investigation into poor performance must consider the environment in which the individual is operating. For example, the newly developed system strives to drive overtime down as a KPI, but the supervisor is rewarded on completion of work. This means that the supervisor works to avoid being reprimanded for non-completion of work, and so he will likely approve overtime to ensure that all work is completed. In this situation, overtime containment must be elevated to the same stature as work completion by the MCS. Operational performance must be dealt with in the same way as personal performance. All KPIs must have a target. If the target is achieved, then the plan is achieved. Hence, the budget is achieved and the margin is protected. It is important that the project commitment to deliver a defined financial benefit is protected at all times. This reinforces the integrity of the Renoir approach and caliber of its people to deliver a promise, even in the face of adversity. It is imperative that the finance representative, the CFO or equivalent, is included in all KPI and financial benefit discussions and calculations. It is in the interest of the financial representative that the benefits are protected, as they have a vested interest in a positive outcome. It is their bottom line that is affected. Any compromise to the project benefit should be escalated to the Renoir Project Operations Manager immediately. Understand the drivers of the specific compromise and the levers available to the project for potential mitigation.